Welcome to another episode of Nature of Sovereignty. I'm Ian Gaines, Media Director at BBB, and today's interview is with Abubakar Khalil. He is a Bitcoin core developer from the country, you guessed it, Nigeria. Nigeria is absolutely killing it right now with their development. He talks about his start, tips and tricks to follow along his pathway, what are some challenges, and how people can support and help fund. He's also the CTO of Recursive Capital, which is a venture firm that focuses on decentral programs who protect the self-sovereignty of citizens across the globe. It's absolutely amazing. And he's only 21. So the next gen is right now. I hope you enjoy. I was following the Human Rights Foundation, and I know they have the Bitcoin core development program. And I was just scrolling through the different contributors, and I saw you there, and then I saw the Twitter. I was like, oh man, this is amazing. Just young developer just working on Bitcoin core. So I just thought that was amazing, and I wanted to learn honestly more about it. So, well, I guess first, how did you get involved in working on Bitcoin core?
Wow, well, to be honest, with these type of questions, the truth is, it's not like there's one single event where I was like, oh my God, this was the moment that made it happen. But there are significant moments here and there. So I'd say the most significant would be in 2017, because that's when it all started for me. Because I left high school in like 2016, and then 2017 was when the whole bubble with the hype with Bitcoin, and then from then I was like, oh, okay, what's this Bitcoin thing? Back in 2015, I was watching Mr. Robot, so that was the first time I
Yeah.
saw hacking
That'll
and
get you down the rabbit
demystify
hole,
it.
huh?
Yeah, exactly. So it's been lingering on in my head, and I was like, oh, that's possible. So, in 2017, heard about Bitcoin, started, looking at all these articles saying Bitcoin is the future, all of that. And, my older brother actually introduced me to Bitcoin like 2013, but, what the hell? I wasn't a programmer at the time or anything. So as far as I was concerned, it was like, I thought it was a math contest where people could like win money or something. So from that, you can tell I had no idea what the hell that was. So in 2017, learned about that, started looking at programming in general because I was like, this Bitcoin thing is not, it's not just one thing. Clearly, there's a lot of things involved, cryptography, C++, that's what Bitcoin Core is coded in. So I was like, you know what? It's time to just go inside and just check out this programming thing so I can understand everything. So I started reading up on basic stuff, what's a hash function and all of that. And then by like 2018, I started programming proper. So in Python, I picked it up because obviously that's one of the easiest and most convenient languages. And then, after that, I started doing a little few projects here and there. There was an article going around about, how to build a blockchain in 15 minutes, all that kind of fun. So I was like, let me take it on. So I built one. And from then on, I was like, okay, this makes sense. This makes sense. So from then on, I just started doing a lot more coding, wrote a programming language just to learn how a lot of the stuff works, compilers and stuff like that. In 2019, after I was on Twitter, I was just scrolling about, and I think it was October. And then I saw Takimbo. Takimbo is another Bitcoin Core contributor from Nigeria. He's actually the first, I think, probably in Nigeria that I know of that made his first pull request. So at the time I saw his pull request and I was like, wow, damn, like this is possible. Like, because I was eyeing the GitHub for a bit. I was like, you know what, might as well just try this out. So I looked over at the good first issues. It was during Hacktoberfest. So in open source projects, there's like every October every year, some projects host like a Hacktoberfest thing where they have a bunch of issues, like noobs can try it out. So there was one on the GUI. It's kind of a trivial change, just to like change the text on the node window. So I had a shot at that, learned a lot from it, met a lot of, well, not met, but I guess texted since commenting on pull requests. A lot of developers like Practical Swift, Abasto, and a bunch of other developers that really helped out. Because, the thought around Twitter is that Bitcoin is toxic and it scares away new developers and talent and stuff like that. But it couldn't be further away from the truth. A lot of them were very welcoming, like helping you through it out and stuff like that. So after doing that, I was like, yeah, might as well do more of this. So I lingered on, continued. And then after it got merged in 2020, I took a stab at another pull request. And then like that, I've been doing a lot more, especially after the grant, because finally got the M1. So it made code compiling a lot easier. So I've been doing a lot more contributions, had a pull request merge not too long ago. I have like two open. So yeah, the plan is to do a lot more Bitcoin Core contributions, definitely.
Cool. No, that's amazing. So how long was the time period between not knowing anything about software development and to now? Like, what if somebody wants to get into that process? When did that start for you, and how long did it take?
Hmm. So that's kind of a tough one because everyone's path is kind of different. You have people starting off at 10, they already have experience writing, I don't know, basic or probably Python. And you have people going into college and learning it. But with me, it was really mostly from 2017, getting, the launchpad up to start learning about basic concepts, stuff like programming.
Like C
What's a
plus plus
program?
and all that?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Okay,
So
that's where you
basic
started.
especially,
Mhm.
yeah, exactly. So what's a program? What's a compiler? Okay, what are commands? What's syntax? What's semantics? What's the difference? Stuff like that. So I'd say that would be a good first start, definitely, because you need a lot of you could easily get lost. That's the thing with programming, because there's a lot to like go over. You could spend like an entire decade just studying compilers or doing cryptography. So the trick is just to find, just keep your head like in an overview or like not too specific so you don't go like down an entire rabbit hole without ever having any sort of solid understanding. So stuff like what's a program, little stuff, pick up projects, especially that's the best way to really get going. So it could be like a mock project, maybe, I don't know, try some kind of project that scrapes, maybe like a Discord bot or something, or like alerts users of the Bitcoin price, for example. All these basic projects. From then on, because the best way to learn is really to write code. Honestly, reading it, it gets you halfway, but when you actually write it, from then you could pop up, a few bugs and like, oh damn, like what's this? And then from then on, you get probably even help with the programming language, for example, if it's a bug that's so fundamental to the compiler or something like that, and then yeah, the best way to do it is definitely to write code.
Got it. Yeah, like they say, you can't read a book on how to take a jump shot. At some point,
Exactly.
you just gotta get on the court.
Definitely.
um, that's awesome. And in terms of general support, I know that the Bitcoin core developers, they're constantly maintaining it, but is
Mm.
there a project that you guys are working on right now to help, whether scale it? I know there's some people working on layer two, but working on
Mm.
the actual, give me a little bit, like speak to me as I'm a fifth grader, but like what is the sort of challenges and issues that you guys are facing, or projects that you're working on?
Okay, so there are a bunch of people working on a lot of stuff because the Bitcoin ecosystem isn't just Bitcoin Core, but obviously it is Bitcoin Core. It is at the core of the entire
Mhm.
protocol. So there are a lot of them working on different projects, even within Bitcoin Core. Because the problem is, when it first started, when Satoshi coded it up, it was kind of like a hodgepodge of a bunch of stuff working. So it wasn't really structured in a way that could make it easy to, let's say, separate the wallet, for example, from the node instance, which is what communicates with other nodes on the protocol. So there is an ongoing project with separating that and kind of decoupling everything. So in the future, you could like have a node running, have your wallet running, and then be able to communicate with the two, as opposed to like having it only run through one instance and then you have the wallet open, the the node running and stuff like that. And then there are other projects that people are working on for like making transaction relaying efficient and stuff like that. With Erlay, I think the pull request still in draft. The draft still, I think, open this month. And then there's like U3XO to make sure the UTXO set isn't too large for people to store, because obviously you don't want to make it very difficult to run a Bitcoin node, for example. You want to make the resource requirement really low. So you'll be able to have a bunch of people run it from all parts of the world, which will help with decentralization, for example. And then with Lightning, generally, there are like a bunch of teams working on their own Lightning. their own Lightning clients. So you have LND, Eclair, and a bunch of other ones. C Lightning as well. So the good thing with Lightning is, unlike Bitcoin, which most of the development relies on working on Bitcoin Core, as opposed to other clients do. Even though there are other clients like Alaolu's BTCD, Alaolu,
Yeah,
Rosebeef.
yeah, yeah. He was
Yeah,
on too.
so
Yeah.
yeah, so he has his own clients as well. But it's a Bitcoin client. But with Bitcoin development, most of the development is on Bitcoin Core. It happens mostly there, and then changes get ported to other clients as well. Whereas with Lightning, the development is actually mostly with the Lightning bolts, which are like their own version of BIPs. So a lot of it gets standardized there, and then all the individual teams get into implementing it. So it's more spec based rather than implementation based, if you would. Because with Bitcoin,
Right.
you have to wait for Core to integrate, obviously, since it's the most used client. So,
Right. I know with Bernard Pera, like him
mm,
collaborating with Strike, Jack Mallers on the
mm,
Lightning Network. So that was
mm.
awesome to see, to
Yeah, I
do
was very happy.
instant transaction. Yeah. Payments from the
Definitely.
United States to Nigeria in under 10 seconds. So it
Instantly.
was
No Western Union, no 2 days, no bouncing back.
and I want to get into Nigeria as
Mm,
well. I know people from BBB, Charlene, and then
mm.
myself, like working with Ray Youssef.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Nigeria is really the Bitcoin hub. Is becoming that place,
Yeah.
you know.
Mm,
I just want to hear about it, just like on the ground level, how people are using Bitcoin. Is the education coming up to
mm.
par? They're understanding how to use it, how to transact. How's that building in Nigeria?
Oof. Like you said, it's really over the years been becoming increasingly a hub for talent, especially not only with awareness, because obviously you're aware of the numbers when it comes to volumes and us doing probably top five in the world. So we have that unlocked. But I think the major problem we have is with education, especially technical education on Bitcoin. Because number one, there aren't too many Bitcoin core contributors, for example. And number two, there aren't too many people actually working in the Bitcoin space. So whether it's building a wallet or contributing to core some other way. So I think the way forward would be for individuals to be not only funding with education, but actually going on ground and like holding whether seminars, classes, and stuff like that, so that they are properly educated on building all these technical solutions like Lightning and stuff like that. But yeah, generally with development, I think has been picking up quite steadily because a few years back we didn't really have too many Bitcoin wallets to begin with, but then you saw with Bitcoins, and then after that, Yele bought a bundle, and then in between that, BitNob had already been working, and then over the years it kind of went from savings, remittance. Now you have Lightning on top and building out full-fledged solutions. So I think the future is not only with Nigeria, I think the future generally with Bitcoin and like wallets in general will probably be you have a bunch of wallets around the world that deal with the specific challenges that face that locale. So whether it's having payments getting fast or like people buying credit, for example, or data plans over the internet, and then being able to integrate all those solutions and at the same time have the Lightning Network communicate with an entire global financial ecosystem. So it's basically having wallets that deal with local problems, but at the same time can talk natively to Bitcoin in a much global ecosystem.
You can transact money across borders seamlessly, uh,
Exactly.
low cost, all of that.
Most
Because
importantly,
yeah, that's the biggest thing. Because I was talking to Lord Fisitua, from Tonga, and he's saying
mm,
that 40% of their GDP, close to 40% of their GDP, is coming through remittance. Right, it's people outside of the country,
mm,
yeah, sending money back home. And when they
mm,
use Western Union and other payment channels, it takes up to like 30-35% in transaction fees. Right. So you
damn,
said just using Bitcoin on the Lightning Network, and it it gives back 30%
it's crazy.
of revenue to the citizens. So it's something that's real, it's happening, and we have real use cases, like this actual need. And that's what's
Definitely.
happening similarly in Nigeria. Now, I know you are also, correct me if I'm wrong, but this CTO, Recursive Capital.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about Recursive Capital.
Yeah, so the story of Recursive is it's kind of a bit interesting because it actually started with my older brother Khalil. It was back in like 2018. He just came in and was like, you know what? Honestly, I have this crazy idea of like creating a venture capital fund, which mainly focuses on, funding projects here. Because he was like, you know what? We can't really keep waiting for foreign capital to come in to fund projects that are here locally when all we could do is raise funds here locally and fund these projects locally. And obviously, you wouldn't even need to subject people to, arbitrary and like stuff that happens with investors overseas. So let's say they pull out last minute or stuff like that. So he was like, might as well help our people, get straight to funding it. So, from then on in like 2019, we're still, thinking about it. And then 2020 was when we launched in like February. So basically what we do is we're essentially a Web 3.0 fund. Would like to say Bitcoin, obviously, because that's where most of the activity is in Web 3.0. So let me define obviously what we mean by Web 3.0 because it's not DeFi or any Ethereum shitcoin related stuff. So when we
Yeah.
say Web 3.0, we mean two things specifically. So online sovereignty as well as financial sovereignty. So with online sovereignty, we're talking about encryption as a right, for example, privacy preserving technologies, protocols, and then with financial sovereignties when it comes to engaging in commerce. So censorship resistant protocols, decentralized protocols that allow you to send money instantly. Essentially, Bitcoin really. All the other projects aren't really good in that regard, especially with censorship resistant. Sorry, because they could easily be delisted, for example, if there's another coin. So things like that with Lightning and stuff like that. But more generally as well, with regards to the entire ecosystem of the Web3 infrastructure, the thing is all of this wouldn't be possible, obviously, without the internet. So we're also looking at funding projects that aim to, provide resilient internet infrastructure. So Gotana, for example, with mesh networking, or Blockstream satellites, for example, where you could literally beam Bitcoin blocks from space and stuff like that. Because I know, you're obviously aware that we have a Twitter ban going on. So
For real.
so yeah, funding with obviously stuff that help ensure that our liberties are still in check. So whether it's VPN protocols and stuff like that, but that's generally the thing. So we have a few announcements coming up. So probably check the handle, keep an eye on it. But more generally, if there are investors listening, if you've got a lot of capital sitting around and you're trying to help with the ecosystem, trying to get into Nigeria specifically, for example, just hit us up, contact at rcrsv.xyz, and we'll hook you up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you
Yeah.
should actually get in contact with Fode Diop,
Yeah, I know for it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, out of Senegal. He's working on encrypted communication channels, right? In
Yeah, I saw
Senegal.
that project.
Yeah, so especially for social dissidents, if people
Mm,
are speaking freely, and the government
definitely.
will shut down communications
Mm,
in that area, right? And being able to get like internet access, so to open up like encrypted channels for communication to allow people to continue to pass information back and forth and just communicate. So that's something similar in that bend. But if people want to help
mm,
support the Bitcoin core developers or want to be a part of it in some way, if they are looking to work on the protocol, what
mm,
should they do? Who should they reach out to?
So it kind of depends if you're. It depends on who the person seeking out to help is. So whether it's an individual, for example, if it's individuals, the thing is one of the biggest risks for Bitcoin Core, especially and Bitcoin as a whole, is not having enough developers maintaining the core infrastructure. So whether it's Bitcoin Core, LND, stuff like that. So you'd obviously need to not only be able to ensure you attract talent from around the world and ensure it's obviously from around the world. So you wouldn't be subjecting yourself to a bunch of developers in the same geographical location where there could be like a tsunami, for example, that wipes them all out, and they have no
Oh no.
developers, for example. Yeah.
It's a
So
tragic
with
story.
funding
This is a
them,
dark story.
exactly. Yeah, very. So with helping out, it would definitely be to help attract developers, and then with funding, it would be because the thing with funding, especially, is it's something that has to be treated very delicately because you don't want to have all the people funding Bitcoin developers in, let's say, one region, for example, because if they all pull out again, we're back to square one. You're not having individuals funded. So if you're an individual, you could reach out to the individual Bitcoin Core contributors and then fund them. You could ask them, if you have a wallet address I could help you out with. And there's actually a list of Bitcoin Core developers you could reach out to with their addresses and places to pay them. I think is Dev List or something like that. But then if you're a corporation like I don't know, like an exchange, for example, there are already exchanges doing stuff like that, like BitMEX, OKCoin. So you could reach out to them, like get a feel of how they do their own stuff. You could even collaborate, for example. And if you're not an exchange, you happen to be just a normal company and you're just trying to get into the space. Likewise, you just reach out to the individuals doing it currently so you could learn from their experiences. So whether it's reaching out to Square Crypto, Chaincode, Brink, all of that. So that's generally the gist of it if you're seeking to fund them. That's definitely the path to take.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate the work that you do. Basically, you guys got the whole team on your back. You're the people who's maintaining the protocol, carrying us. So definitely have to have you in to hear about the work that you do and any way that we can help and support. We're here. So, Abubakar, thank you so much. Now, if people want to reach out to you directly or hear about new news about Recursive Capital, where can they reach out?
Yeah, so generally my email is open, or if you're on Twitter, you could hit me up at I hate 1999. Looking back at it, that username is kind of
It's
kind of
actually kind of
weird.
dope. I was like, that is kind of dope. I was like 19. I hope you wait. Is that your born year? Is it 1999? Don't say
Yeah,
that.
unfortunately, I was,
Oh, that's dang, I guess that's dating
yeah,
me a little bit now. Goodness.
yeah.
I used to be the young kid on the block, but it's changing now. But that's awesome
It's
that we
crazy.
have you
I
guys
was kind
working
of
on.
young when I joined Twitter, so it's back in 2010. So looking for a
No, it's
username and
funny.
that kind of
Keep
popped
it,
in.
man. Keep it. It's good. It's great. It's charming. But okay, yeah. So people can catch you there at that handle. I hate
Mm.
1999. Yeah, perfect.
I
All
don't.
right.
I don't definitely. I
Yeah,
do like
yeah.
1999, obviously, but yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and if you have anything else that comes up, any new projects, make sure to hit us up. Love to have you back on.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me.